How's it going, everyone? My name is True Wonder Dog, and today I am extra excited because I'm gonna try and catch everything that you missed in the Mortal Kombat 11 story trailer, while also doing a general breakdown as well. Because honestly, there's a ton of stuff in this trailer. In fact, while I was trying to study it for the initial breakdown, I caught so many more things than I saw initially. So without any further ado, let's start the breakdown. So first up, we have Kitana. Because this is the first time we get to see her outfit in full. Until now, we've only seen bits and pieces of her new costume design. And honestly, I'm digging the new look. I don't like when the evil characters are quite so armored, but I do think her design matches well overall with Liu Kang's. And I'm actually surprised that it's still blue. I thought it was going to be black like her Empress design in Mortal Kombat X. The outfit as a whole honestly does look different than I thought it would look when we just saw that behind the scenes trailer back in the day. Now that I'm seeing the whole thing, I kinda dig it. Though I am still holding on to the idea that she could still be Melina in disguise. We haven't seen her mouth yet. You can't prove that I'm wrong. And speaking of new designs, Scarlet has long hair now. I mean, not super long. I'm pretty sure Maximilian's hair is much longer than that, but even so, it's much longer than her initial pixie cut, which means there are two possibilities here. Possibility one, you are able to customize Scarlet's hair, which sounds fantastic. I want to bring back that Mortal Kombat 9 ponytail. I have no problem dressing up Scarlet like a Barbie doll. Next, we have possibility number two, which is that this is a permanent change and her hair is no longer that short pixie cut. And honestly, I hope that's not the case. I do prefer the option to customize her hair, and I didn't mind the pixie cut. I think it looked pretty good on her, but I do love the idea of customizing her hair. Once again, Scarlet Barbie doll, that's a fan dream come true. And then we get our first look at Aaron Black in game. Not gonna lie, I dig the new look. It's simple to be sure, but it gets the job done without being too bulky or overly complex, and I've noticed that's a theme in Mortal Kombat 11. The outfits are not super complex, they're just detailed enough to get the job done, and I honestly prefer that. I've always preferred a sleek design over something too messy. And next up we have young Kano, and I say young Kano because there definitely is two from different timelines, and we actually do see both of them in this trailer. If you want to know which one's the old one, he's got the tattoos, the young one does not. So it's definitely not just a costume change in story mode, it actually is two different Kanos from two different points in time. And then finally we see Shao Kahn, which isn't a big surprise at first until you realize he's the first pre-order character to appear in story mode. Both Goro and Darkseid were excluded from story mode in past NetherRealm games, but not Shao Kahn. He is too OP for that, and he is going to be appearing in the story mode. And not only that, but his role seems very prominent. He's not just a background character, he has a lot of dialogue here. And he also seems to be a pretty central antagonist too. So that's about it for the character reveals for now, but this next reveal is honestly just as exciting to me. So check out this background. Do you see all the hives? Do you see the giant bug in the background? Because if you do, then you're probably thinking what I'm thinking, this might be Devorah's home. In fact, it could actually be the home of her entire race, though keep in mind in Mortal Kombat X, Tanya did state that her race of people are very solitary, so I doubt it's her entire village. I think it might just be Devorah's home, but even so, I would put money down that this is a new stage to fight on, and I'm not a gambling man, but that's how certain I am that we're gonna fight on this stage. And this shot reveals so many more secrets. So first up, we have our first really good look at the Kollector. This character is brand new for Mortal Kombat 11, and he's got 4 arms. Goro has definitely been replaced. I mean, we already knew that he was dead, but we got a new 4-arm guy in town. And judging by his build, he looks a bit skinny, kind of a bit frail, he hunches over. I think he might be our new sorcerer character. And yes, I've heard the rumors that Shang Tsung is an unlockable character, I understand. But even so, I think this will be our main sorcerer character for a majority of the story mode. And that's got me pretty excited. I always love the sorcerer characters. And you might be thinking a new character is the biggest reveal, but nah. This next one is honestly even more important in my opinion. So we have this hooded girl. Who could this hooded girl be? I'm telling you right now, it's Frost. I know a lot of people are thinking it's Centrion, who is also a new character in Mortal Kombat 11, but if you look at that mask right there, it definitely makes me think that's Frost. And since she is wearing the hood, I'm thinking she probably does have hair in this game. A lot of people thought she was bald. I don't think so. I think that rendered image just didn't have the customizable options on the characters. I bet you can actually customize her hair similar to Scarlet's. However, if I'm wrong and she does end up being bald, I will still love her all the same. Now, if you're wondering why Frost is wearing the hood, I imagine it's because she's on the side of Kronika, which means she's already betrayed Sub-Zero. Man, girl, that was quick. For anyone who's not aware, Frost always betrays Sub-Zero in pretty much every game she's in. So it's nothing new, but man, she was quick this time to do it. Now, this next shot is pretty interesting to me. So we see Jade leading a group of Tarkatans. And unlike in past games, they do look a bit more unique this time with the face paint, body paint, all that cool stuff. And the reason I find this scene so fascinating is because it seems seems to imply that Jade is working alongside Kotal Khan, because I imagine that Kotal Khan is still in charge of Baraka, and Baraka is of course leading the Tarkatans. I mean, in case all the flag twirling didn't give it away, Baraka does lead his people. This next part is a bit short, but I think a lot of people skipped over it, so you see some dead people hanging from the ceiling with like their life force being drained. Nothing really crazy there, but make note of what they're wearing. These are actually monks from the Shaolin Temple. So Liu Kang, Kung Lao, these are their people. So I'm guessing this part of the game takes place during one of their chapters. And this next part is a really big deal. Once again, this story mode has so much goodness in it. So here we see Revenant, Cabal, and Jade approaching Shinnok's head with a small army at their side. Now right now, Shinnok's not in very good shape. His head is being used as a battery to power the entire room, which I imagine is Dark Raiden's doing, but even so, it doesn't seem like he'll be in that situation much longer, as I imagine Cabal and Jade have been sent to free him, and there have been rumors floating around that Shinnok will be playable in the game, and this scene makes that outcome seem even more likely. So if you're a big Shinnok fan, cross your fingers, he might be playable. And next up we get our first look at Jackie while she fights Jade, rocking that exosuit, very similar to Cassie, and she definitely does look good, but I'm telling you right now, girl, you're not gonna beat Jade. That's an OG. Been around since Mortal Kombat 2 as a secret boss fight, okay? You don't stand a chance, girl. And then we have our first real look at Cassie. Now I've actually known about how Cassie looks and plays for about a week and a half now at a secret reveal event, and if you want my personal opinion, I think she looks gorgeous, and I think her new suit design looks better as well. The perfect blend of function and fashion. My only real gripe is her new personality. She seems more like a young Sonya and not so much a young Johnny Cage, which is very different to how she was in Mortal Kombat X, but you know what? I'm sure I can learn to get used to it. And I think a lot of people miss this next part because it happens so quickly, but if I freeze frame, you can see Jade has her hand on Kotal Khan's shoulder, possibly to comfort him. Once again, further implying the two are actually teaming up here. Once again, we see a bunch of hives in the background, so I think Kotal Khan and Jade are trying to hunt down Devora's home, and they found it. Which might not have been such a great idea because giant bugs show up, which might also be controlled by Devora, honestly. But one of them just totally grabs Jade and yeets her out of frame. Poor thing gets dragged away super fast, likely to be rescued by Kotal Khan. I think this story mode is trying to make Kotal Khan a much more sympathetic character, and they want to show that deep down he really is a good guy. Next up, we see Shao Kahn leading a small group while being surrounded by Kotal Khan's men. And this of course is great foreshadowing of a possible meeting between the two, or even a fight. And I'm honestly okay with either, but Kotal Khan, please don't betray Earthrealm a second time. I want to be on your side, but you can only hurt me so much. Then we have a scene with Raiden speaking to the Elder Gods, and then one of them speaks back. And this new character appears to be Centrion, who was confirmed as a playable character, which would mean that Mortal Kombat 11 is the very first game to let you play as an Elder God. Now, of course, you could play as Shinnok in past games, but he was a former Elder God, not a current one. So this definitely is Mortal Kombat history, the first time playing as an Elder God, if that is in fact Centrion. Then we got this guy peeking from behind a column. I honestly have no clue who this guy is. He could be a rando, could be a main character. I can't see enough of his face to tell. Please post down in the comments who you think this guy is. And then we have this next part that I find very funny and I wanted to include it. So Sonya Blade recently had a face update, and for most of the trailer she is rocking that new face, but for this one scene in particular where she's fighting Aaron Black, if you freeze frame, you can still see that it's her old face model here. I just personally found it funny for her to have the wrong face for this one part of the trailer. And then we have current Scorpion versus old Scorpion. Or in other words, we have human Scorpion versus Scorpion as an undead wraith. Who will win? I imagine the new Scorpion, but then again, you know what, I don't know. The OG Scorpion has those old school points going for him. It could honestly go either way. And this next part is great because it's our first actual gameplay of Cassie, which shows her using a small drone in combat. Now I can confirm that this drone is a very big part of her moveset, and it even shows up in her outro as well if you win the match. And if you want my own little fan theory, I think this drone actually holds a lot of her shadow energy that she can then access whenever she wants to at will. Because remember, in Mortal Kombat X, she wasn't very good at summoning the shadow energy, so now she essentially has a floating battery that can summon the energy whenever she wants. Next up, we have our first look at Jackie's fatality, which finally does look brutal and even a little bit sadistic, which I think is good. Even if the character technically is a hero, I think their fatality should always be brutal and sadistic, and Jackie is definitely fitting that bill here. She starts off with the legs and then the arm before finally putting the opponent out of their misery. Very very brutal stuff. But Aaron Black is not to be deterred. He bounces right back and hits her with his own fatal blow, which thankfully looks just as flashy and unnecessary as ever. He tosses the coins and ricochets a bullet off of it for those style points. Looks really awesome. But we're not done with fatal blows, because next up we have Cassie's fatal blow, which honestly is pretty darn good. I just feel like it's missing a little something. Maybe she could do a flip kick at the end to end it. I don't know. I feel like she's just shooting the opponent mostly. And yes, she is using shadow energy on the bullets, so that's kind of cool, but I would have liked to see a little bit more martial arts since she is Johnny Cage's daughter. But at any rate, that's about it for the trailer breakdown, everyone. I hope I caught some of the stuff you missed. If I did, then please leave a like down below in the comments section. It really does help me out a ton. And then while you're down there, please post your favorite part of the trailer down in the comments. And then why not keep that combo going by subscribing and ringing that bell? That way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.